All right, so online job hunting. It's a jungle out there, right?
Yeah, it can be.
Endless scrolling, applications disappearing into the void. We've all been there. But you sent us some info about this platform, RoleCatcher. They claim to be different, kind of like, I don't know, a whole job hunting toolkit in one.
Right, right. They're not just another job board. They're trying to, well, they say they're solving a lot of the pain points of the traditional job search.
Okay, so less about just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best.
Exactly. They want to give you, a real leg up, especially with all the AI and automation being used these days to screen candidates.
Because nobody wants to go up against a robot.
Right. Pretty much.
So how are they actually using technology to do that? To help people out?
Well, the AI is a big part of it. And I'm not talking about just like, a glorified spell check. This is next level stuff.
Oh,
So they have this AI that analyzes your resume, right? But it doesn't just look for typos. It actually figures out which skills you should be emphasizing based on the specific job you're applying for.
wait. It's like it's reading the minds of those hiring managers or something?
Kind of. It's about understanding what they're really looking for, even if they don't explicitly say it in the job description.
That's actually kind of amazing. So it's like having, I don't know, like a secret decoder ring for job applications.
Yeah, exactly. It helps you crack the code, so to speak.
I like it. But they don't stop there, do they? Their website mentioned all this stuff about networking, interview prep. There was even something called, what was it? Reverse matching. It's
Yeah,
a lot to take in.
it is. It is. It seems like they really have thought of everything. And yeah, that reverse matching thing, that's interesting. It's like instead of you chasing down jobs, the jobs come to you.
Hold on. How does that even work?
So basically, employers using RoleCatcher can search for candidates based on skills and experience. So if your profile matches what they're looking for, boom, they can reach out to you.
That's a game changer. I love that idea. Okay, but with all of this, I have to ask, is it overwhelming to use? Like, is it too much?
That's actually one thing I thought they did well.
Yeah.
You can start with a free basic plan just to kind of get your feet wet. It gives you access to the core features so you're not, bombarded with everything at once.
Okay, so you can dip your toes in before you like dive into the deep end. I like that. But what about for someone who's ready to dive in? What does the paid version get you that the free one doesn't?
Well, they have this premium subscription called Copilot AI, and it unlocks a bunch of, more advanced features. Think of it like this. It's like having a personal job search coach in your pocket.
Okay, now that's intriguing. A personal job search coach. Tell me more about this. What does that actually mean in practical terms?
So one of the coolest things, I think, is the AI-powered cover letter help.
Ugh, don't even get me started on cover letters.
Right. Everyone hates writing them. But with this, the AI actually looks at your resume, looks at the job description, and then helps you write a cover letter that really hits all the right notes.
So it's not just about sounding good, it's about like speaking the language of the specific employer, right?
Exactly.
That's smart.
And it goes even further than that. You can actually get feedback on your interview practice, too. They use video analysis and everything. Remember those thousands of interview questions you sent me?
Oh, yeah. So you're saying with this Copilot thing, you could practice answering those questions and then get feedback on like your delivery, your body language, all of that.
Exactly. Like having a personal stylist for your job interviews.
Okay, I'm starting to see why you were so impressed by this role catcher thing. It really does seem like they're like flipping the script on the whole job search process. But you mentioned earlier that they also help you figure out like what you want to do in the first place.
Oh, yeah. They have this whole other feature. They call them career guides. And basically, they're just super in-depth resources about different careers.
So like thousands of different career paths all laid out.
Yeah, pretty much. They've got everything. Like, I think you sent me one about art therapy, right?
Oh, yeah, that one was fascinating. I had no idea what that even really was before reading that.
Right. So they break down, like, the typical responsibilities, the skills you need, how much you can expect to make, even the pros and cons. They even have sample interview questions specific to that field.
It's like having a career counselor on speed dial.
Exactly. And that can be so helpful, especially if you're, just starting out or thinking about making a change.
Totally. So speaking of technology, I'm curious, how does this role catcher AI compare to like other AI stuff out there? Like ChatGPT. Everyone's talking about ChatGPT these days.
Right. Well, it's interesting you mention that because in their materials, RoleCatcher actually compares their Copilot AI directly to ChatGPT.
Oh,
Yeah, they're saying it's just as sophisticated, just as powerful, but, fine-tuned for for the job search process.
So instead of writing me a poem, it's writing me a resume.
Exactly.
Fascinating. But what does that actually mean for someone who's like using RoleCatcher?
That's a great question, and that's something we're going to dig into right after this. Because while all this technology is amazing, it's important to look at, how it actually plays out in the real world.
So it's like RoleCatcher is saying, look, we get it, job hunting is tough, but we've got your back.
Right, they're trying to give you every advantage.
And this whole ChatGPT comparison, that's what really caught my eye. Because ChatGPT, I mean, that's powerful stuff, right? Like it really understands language.
It does, it does. And that's what RoleCatcher seems to be doing here. But instead of using it to, write screenplays or whatever, they're applying it to this very specific thing, job hunting.
So it's like instead of just asking ChatGPT to like write me a cover letter,
Yeah.
you've got this AI that's been trained on what, like millions of resumes and job descriptions?
Exactly. It knows what works, it knows what doesn't, and it can tailor your application accordingly.
Okay, that makes sense. And it goes back to what we were talking about before about RoleCatcher trying to give, more power back to the job seeker.
Exactly. It's about leveling the playing field. Because think about it, when you're applying for a job online, you're basically sending your resume into this black box. You have no idea if anyone even looks at it.
Oh, I know it. It's the worst feeling.
But with this, with RoleCatcher, you're not just hoping for the best. You're using this AI to make sure your application is actually seen, that it's actually understood by the people who matter.
You're taking control of your own destiny, basically.
Right. It's about being proactive.
I like it. So for someone who's listening to all of this and thinking, okay, I'm sold, where do I start? What would you recommend as a first step?
Well, the good news is you don't have to commit to anything right away. They have a free plan. You can sign up, poke around, see what it's all about.
Try before you buy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then, if you like it, you can always upgrade later.
Makes sense. Now, we touched on these career guides earlier, but I want to dig into those a little bit more because for someone who's maybe just starting out or maybe they're feeling stuck in their current job and they're not sure what else is out there, these seem like they could be really helpful.
Oh, absolutely. They're like a crash course in different careers.
So how do they actually work?
So let's say you're interested in, I don't know, UX design, right? But you're not really sure what that entails.
You just know it's a thing.
Right. So you go to RoleCatcher, you pull up the UX designer career guide, and it's all laid out for you. What they do, what skills they need, what their day-to-day looks like, even how much money they make.
No way, even the salary stuff.
Oh, yeah. And they have a whole section on how to actually get a job in that field, too.
So it's like a roadmap, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It takes all the guesswork out of it.
Which I imagine is a huge relief for people who are, feeling lost or overwhelmed by the whole job search thing.
Right. It just gives you some direction. And the cool thing is, as you're browsing these guides, the AI is actually learning about you, too. So it might start recommending other career paths that, you might not have even thought of.
So it's like having a career matchmaker in your pocket.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's super helpful for people who are still figuring things out. But what about someone who they know what they want to do, they just need help actually getting the job? How does RoleCatcher help with that?
That's where these Copilot AI features really come in handy. Like we were talking about before, the resume and cover letter help, that's all part of it. But it goes even deeper than that.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
So the AI can actually analyze your skills and experience and tell you, hey, maybe you should highlight this more. You're missing this key skill that a lot of employers are looking for.
It's like having a personal trainer for your job search.
Right. It helps you identify your weaknesses and then gives you concrete steps you can take to improve.
So it's not just about tweaking your resume. It's about actually making yourself a more competitive candidate.
Exactly. And in today's job market, that's huge.
Totally. Okay, so this Copilot thing, it sounds amazing, but I imagine it doesn't come cheap, right? When does it actually make sense for someone to pull the trigger and pay for the premium version?
That's a great question. And it really depends on, your individual situation. But it's definitely something to consider if you're serious about taking your job search to the next level.
So the million-dollar question, Copilot AI, is it worth it?
That's what it all comes down to, right?
Right.
And honestly, it depends. It depends on, what are you trying to get out of it? What are your goals?
Okay, so walk me through that. What are the factors someone should be thinking about?
Well, if you're just kind of testing the waters, maybe you're not even sure if you're ready for a new job yet. The free plan might be all you need. For now, anyway.
Just to get your feet wet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you are actively applying for jobs, you're serious about it, you want every advantage you can get, then yeah, Copilot AI is where it's at. I mean, think about all the other stuff we spend money on these days to make our lives easier.
Oh, I know, right?
We have apps for everything.
My grocery list is now an app.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why not invest in something that could actually help you, like, significantly with your career?
It's true. We can be hesitant to spend money on on ourselves, on our own career development sometimes.
Right. And job searching. I mean, it's stressful. It's so easy to get discouraged, especially if if you're not hearing back from anyone.
Tell me about it.
But with this, you've got that extra support system. It's like having someone in your corner, cheering you on, giving you that pep talk when you need it.
Okay, you've convinced me. Sign me up. Where do I go?
Hold your horses. It's important to remember this isn't like a magic wand. You still got to put in the work. The AI can help you. It can give you an edge, but it's not going to do everything for you.
So it's a tool, not a replacement for, actually putting in the effort.
Exactly. You still got to network. You got to practice your interviewing skills, all of that.
Right, of course. But it sounds like what RoleCatcher does is it helps you maximize the effort you're already putting in.
Exactly. And it helps you get noticed, which
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's half the battle sometimes,
Right,
right?
absolutely. So for our listener who's been, diligently taking notes this whole time, what's the bottom line?
The bottom line is if you're serious about your career and you're not afraid of a little, technological assistance, then yeah, RoleCatcher is worth checking out. Start with
Yeah.
the free version, see how you like it, and then, hey, if you're ready to level up, Copilot AI is waiting.
I love it. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive here.
It's been fun.
It has, and hopefully our listeners are feeling a little more optimistic about their job search now.
And a lot more in control.
Yes, exactly. Because at the end of the day, you're in the driver's seat.
You got this.
You got this. And until next time, happy job hunting, everyone.